All right, so ha hempy wash day. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the winter camp series that Racing Magpie puts on through the winter time here. I am Tally Monta. I am the coordinator for the winter camp series 22-23 season. Um, I just want to say welcome everybody who's joining in to watch Ryan talk about her journey as a young emerging artist, a young emerging Lakota female artist here. I gotta admit some people, so think I got everybody admitted so far. Those of you, if you're still in the waiting room, just give me a second. We'll get through this. Okay. So, like I said, Hempy Wash Day. Good evening, everybody. Before we start this session of winter camp with the artist Ryan Light, I just want to give a little remembrance shout out today. 132 years ago, our relatives with Itancha Sitanka were traveling through and were ultimately massacred at the Wounded Knee Creek. So today, in remembrance of our relatives and our ancestors who gave their lives, so we can have when Racing Magpie can put on presentations like this to preserve our culture and document it for the future generations. So I just want to kind of have everybody reflect on that and acknowledge our ancestors that have gone on. And with that, let's get going here because I don't want to take up everybody's time. They're excited to hear Miss Ryan here. So, on behalf of Racing Magpie's whole team, I just want to welcome everybody to our presentation. When there are no words, and to hear about Ryan's story with her artwork and her as an artist. So, a little bit about Racing Magpie. It is a Lakota-centric arts and culture organization founded here in Rapid City in 2015. So, to the organization, it revolves around the center of the Lakota people practicing being a good relative in everything that you do. So that in every breathe, live, being a good relative. So Racing Magpie's work is focused on elevating and amplifying the ongoing work of community-based artists and culture bearers. So as part of the concept of being a good relative, the program, the Winter Camp series, is modeled after our ancestors' version. You know, winter time was the time of storytelling, and that's kind of what winter camp is about. So the model of problem solving, using community building in today's world, but kind of diving deeper into our cultural roots and the way that Ocheti Shakoi, Lakota, Dakota, Nakota people do things and how we interact with the universe and the environment around us. Um, our event, so Racing Magpies events are open to the public and they will always center around the Lakota community members as both presenters, participants, and attendees. So it's kind of the concept as plants and trees focus their energy on building strength and growing from the roots during the winter time. Our community will join and come together and strengthen each other through our sharing and learning. So that's what the winter camp series is about. We have young, more experienced, whoever the presenter is, to tell their story. So in that way, those of us who are receiving that are strengthening ourselves in whatever way that you're helping us to. So you can always support Racing Magpie through contributions as well. You could do it through virtual working, community care. You can make a donation through the website or mailing it in. And always, always support Native artists, makers, creatives, culture bearers by searching them out or buying their art, downloading their music, gifts, self care. So, always Racing Magpie encouraging Indigenous artists throughout. If you have any questions during this presentation, just raise your hand or put them in the little chat down in the corner there. If you're on Facebook Live, definitely make a comment and we'll make sure that Ryan sees them and your question will be answered. Or if you want to, at the end of the presentation, Ryan will give her info out to, and you can start following her on her social um, media accounts and things like that. Is that okay, Ryan?
Yes, of course.
All right, cool. So Ryan is an Eagle Beauty. She's enrolled with the Cheyenne Eagle Butte Lakota tribe. From shoes to skateboard to 12-foot walls, Ryan paints it all. So through her unique artistic practice, she incorporates the use of realism, line work, and bright colors to create what is best described as beautiful chaos. Her work is excellent. If you go down to Art Alley here in Rapid City, she's got, what is it, about 4 murals up now, Ryan?
Yeah, I'd say so, 3 to 4.
Yep. So she likes to incorporate the use of beautiful chaos, pulling a vast majority of her inspiration from the psychedelic 70s. Ryan leaves room for interpretation within her pieces by incorporating hidden messages either through mixed media, the use of gesture, childlike aspects to represent the message she's trying to convey to her audience through her artwork. Her distinctive methods, she's light on difficult topics such as mental health, sexuality, and spirituality in subtle yet powerful manners. Ryan hopes to promote advocacy and unity for all by showcasing her conceptual works. And I am a proud owner of a Ryan Light original called The Gift. I loved it as soon as I laid eyes on it. I wish I had it here with me, but I think we have it in your flyer there. So with that, Ryan, thank you so much for agreeing to do this discussion on your journey through your art. So we'll kind of take it off. I just, you know, showcase your art, tell us about your story. So I think we'll start it off with this concept is about talking about mental health and mental wellness and how your art can get you out of those dark places, those struggles that you have when you have this negative mindset, and how being creative can pull you out of that and maintaining it. We, those of us who've struggled with depression, or people who have, it you do have to maintain it. Sometimes you have a trigger that will you'll seep back into that dark space, but you need to try to come out of it. So I just want you to kind of talk about your experience with that, and then how your art has helped you through it and how it has evolved as you've been getting more mature and getting out into the world here. So with that, take it away.
All right. Well, hello everyone. I'm Ryan Light. I just want to thank Racing Magpie for being having me here, and Tally for hosting. It's an amazing opportunity. I started selling my art about 3 years ago now. I've been experiencing mental health issues since I was about 8 years old. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety then, and I've been in counseling ever since. But even from those early days, drawing and expressing my thoughts onto paper has just been so helpful for my journey. It helped me as a kid because words don't come as easy at that age. Um, but the older I got, the more interested I got in just expressing my struggles in a more artistic way that more people can relate to, um, and just to help me with my journey in general. And it gives me a healthy coping mechanism. My bad, I'm a little nervous. But healthy coping mechanism for the things that I do go through. And more recently, within the past year, I've been diagnosed with ADHD as well. And I think having that undiagnosed as a child, I developed a lot of struggles through that. And art has just really helped me to get the thoughts out of my brain and onto canvas or onto a wall or something of the sorts, to then not store it in my brain as much, not have so much just building up. So it's been a really amazing tool for me.
Awesome. So when you first started experiencing this, and you were such at a young age, was art always your go-to to kind of get that expression out?
Definitely. I think writing is another big one too. I'm a big writer. Not that I really share that side of me as much as I do my art, but I think it goes hand in hand with each other.
Yeah, for sure. Creative writing is an art form as well.
Yeah.
You're expressing yourself. So I see you have some of your art pieces back there, and then you're welcome to share your screen if you kind of want to take us on a journey through your artwork and how that played a really good piece or part in maintaining your positivity throughout your life here.
All right. A piece that I'd like to share in a minute after I tell a little bit of background. When I was about, I want to say 11, I developed a seizure disorder that gave me migraines every single day that I think came from my undiagnosed ADHD and all that stress building up and all the mental health behind it. It just manifested into all these medical problems for me. Um, and that was really hard to endure as such a young kid. You know, I missed out, I had to drop out of school. It consumed my entire life. So this piece here I created for Monument Health. Actually, they had a contest for their a project they were doing. They were including a bunch of local artists, and this is what healing meant to me. And you know, my pain manifested into headaches and all this, you know, all these negative thoughts. And I think this very well conveys like what I was going through and what the healing process was to me, you know, finding the beauty through it all, you know, trying to see the good in things while just not really being in the best state of mind.
So what was that piece called? Does it hang in Monument?
No, it doesn't. It wasn't accepted actually for that project, but I did sell it.
The
But
nerve,
that's
Sam.
right. That one was called What Healing Means to Me. So that was a really amazing piece for me.
So
Very
did
mean.
a private art investor or whatever buy it? I didn't see that. I haven't seen that in any of your stuff. I like it. Nice.
Thank
Good
you.
job. So proud of you. You're
Thank
just like
you.
my little bird. So those of you that don't know, Ryan and I once worked together. She was part of the Art Alley Guild and ran Art Alley when I was at Rapid City Arts Council. So I just feel like the mother bird and she's leaving the nest. So it's pretty awesome. But so you did that piece, and then I see the piece behind you and the one below. Yeah, those are pretty nice too. Kind of dive into, so you have these all these different mediums that you work with too. So does that um does the specific medium, is it based on your mood or what you kind of need to get out of, or is it just whatever is in front of you?
Recently I've been working with a lot of collage type pieces, and I feel like that is really useful to get like just to create, you know, it's a lot, not to say simpler, but the creation process is faster than a particular acrylic painting. So I like to do that kind of stuff when I need to just like get my thoughts out of my head, you know, scribbling, more childlike art, that's really therapeutic for me. But the more meaningful, like thought out pieces, those are very conceptual, and you more have to hear the backstory behind it to really understand the work, but it's up for interpretation for whoever views it, you know, to create their own meaning behind that as well.
Of course. So do you have any cool art pieces you want to share with us too? Kind of tell
Yeah,
us the story behind that first one blew us all away. We're getting some really nice comments here about that. So, and just to be clear, how old are you again?
18.
Oh, you're just a baby. You're just a baby. So talented. Okay, I'll let you start sharing.
All right, so I'm not sure how well you can see it. I'll pick it up right here. But this piece I made just on my experience with depression mainly. It has a lot of mixed media. This is like paper and it has acrylic paint over it, and then pour painting and just like pens and that kind of thing. Um, but it says why all over because there's just so much that you feel so hopeless in a situation like that. You know, there's no way to get out of your head in the way that you would like to sometimes. So it's just like, why am I feeling this way? What can I do about it? So I think like the pour painting really expresses like the emotion in that as well. And the repetitive thoughts, the negative thoughts, I think that piece just really conveys what my brain experiences in that negative time. And this one above me here, that's based off my experience with body dysmorphia. Um, As a kid, I grew up very overweight, and that was my experience up until very recently. And then I went through my own journey with an eating disorder, which completely changed the way I view myself and the way I look physically, which has been a crazy journey. Um, you know, growing up bigger, you always wish to be small, to be skinnier. But then when you get that way because of such a negative experience, it's not as joyful once you actually see that in the mirror. So, and losing touch with yourself, you don't recognize who you see there. So it's just been quite a journey for a young girl to go through, and to say so myself. But I know that many others experience that as well. So I thought it was really important to make a piece about it, to shed some more light on those experiences.
Well, I for one thank you for telling your story, and like I said, this is being recorded, so it's going to be a tool and an asset for young girls that maybe don't think that there's someone out there going through the same struggles that they are. And I thank you so much for sharing that piece of you, or sharing all these pieces of you, and how art tells your story through all of that, because someday some young girls are gonna want, have these thoughts and these struggles that you're going through, and somebody can pull this up and be like, hey, this person went through it too, and these are the tools that she used. Maybe we can use some of these tools to help you too. So yeah,
Yes.
thank you so much for it. All right, let's see some more pieces.
All right. Let me see what else I got here. This is another photo kind of explaining my experience with body dysmorphia. It says, I don't even recognize my own hands, which that's been every part of me is new to me at this point in my life. So I think little sketches like that and more sketchbook work that I can just pull out of nowhere, like that is very beneficial for me to get these feelings out. And when I really just need to vent and let everything go, that's the kind of art that I'm really into.
Also, kind of backing up to when the Roe versus Wade decision was overturned, you and a co-artist created this cool mural in Art Alley. Do you have a copy or a picture of that?
Yes, I do. Let me see if I can find it.
I just kind of, that's like really off the subject, but since we're on to how you do this advocacy for rights and things like that, I think that would be a cool piece to pull up too. Like you said, I really thank you for sharing your story. I was skinny once and didn't recognize myself, so I had to up my fry bread game. But I'll make you some good fry bread.
Yeah. Luckily,
But
we're on a
with us natives, we
different
always have to have our humor every time there's,
right. So here's that mural. My friend Drew Nelson and I did that. She traveled up here from Colorado. Um, this was during all the Roe v. Wade situations, and as two young women, it was very detrimental to us to go and create something that others can see, and to start a discussion within our community about such a thing, because it is so scary. Like, being my age, it's determined where I've gone to college, it's determined the way I live my life day to day. So I think it is something that just really needs to be discussed.
yes, definitely. That's a nice piece. I got so there's just been a couple comments about how you're so talented, your work is so beautiful, so keep
Thank you,
going.
everyone. Um, yeah, let me see what else I have. So this is a piece that I created. It more plays into the spiritual aspect of what goes on through my head, but I think this is a very good representation of my ADHD diagnosis and having all these different things going on at once and trying to show that on a canvas. Um, but it feels like everything is exploding, and I like to use book pages within my art because it looks like there's just like random words thrown in everywhere, which is kind of how my brain works. There's just a lot of different passages or things that I remember that replay in my head constantly. So I'd like to express that in my work somehow, and I think that does a really good job.
Very nice. I'm just a fan of your stuff too. Like I said, I wish I wasn't a poor struggling artist myself. I just buy everybody's art. Find a space, build a house to hang it all up in. So yeah, we got quite a few. They love your pieces, amazing, beautiful. Like I said, I wish I would. Actually, your piece that you did for the art of kindness, the gift, I gifted to my niece for her birthday, and it hangs in her room. So
Oh,
I don't think my sister's on here. I would have made her take a picture and sent it. All right, so let's talk about, when did you do you plan to pursue art in a more professional arena, or is it just gonna kind of take a back seat as you get older, or are you really considering, since it's been played such a big part in maintaining your wellness?
I think I will pursue art. My main goal is to go into tattooing in the future. That's my ultimate dream. But I think more painting and that kind of thing will be more of a hobby for me, just because I think taking it too seriously will take the fun out of it, make me less creative, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so we have a question from Robin Hawk who's watching on Facebook Live. So she has a question for you, Ryan. She has, have you ever considered working with other young people who are struggling with mental health problems?
Yes, I have. I guess I just don't really know how to go about that. Um, where to find them if it's not one-on-one personal. But I have worked with many young people, whether that's talking to them and suggesting how to deal with that, cope with those kind of things, just from my experience, but also through what I do. I think that's really important to show young people that that is an option and that there are healthy ways to go through those hard times.
Right on. And you did do a mural in Art Alley with young children, didn't you? Kind
Yes,
of
I
as
did.
a collaboration.
Yes, I hosted a class this summer that had a group of about, I want to say, 8 young kids that ranged from 8 to 14 years old, and we all created a mural together. It said every child is an artist, and they all got to include a part that was uniquely theirs. And I just helped out where I could with the taller areas and that kind of thing. But it was really rewarding to see young kids work together on something like that and create something that they're really proud of and to take their families back to that. And it's still up to this day. So that's pretty amazing.
Right on. So kind of diving back into, your struggles, does since it's you don't like to talk about it and you convey it through your art pieces, are there any other pieces you want to share with us through any other aspects of, you know, um, show just to showcase a range of your talents here? We I think we've seen quite a bit, but I know you do a cool digital art too, so I know that.
I will show something. Here we go. This is a sticker design I created this past summer. And all the funds that I raised went to the Trevor Project, which helps LGBTQ plus kids get the resources that they need, suicide awareness and prevention, those kind of services for those kids that really do struggle. Um, that's been an amazing thing. Some people just sent money. Like, obviously, I sent them stickers, but they sent extra to be donated, and I donated more on my behalf. So it was just a really amazing project to see how much support that we could get for that.
Awesome. That's just it just brought me chills. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, so that's a good aspect that you as an artist, you don't necessarily you are raising funds, but you're creating these beautiful pieces that people can kids can even look at, and it just, looking at that sticker, just this rush of feel goodness, the
Yeah.
color palette that you chose. So somebody typed in, I don't know if they heard you, but they said, what's the Trevor Project?
Oh, that's a LGBTQ plus organization that helps them get resources to suicide prevention and awareness and counseling and those kind of things. It's more catered towards the families and the kids of the families that don't get as much support within that community. So I think that's a very great cause and very dear to my heart.
Wow, you're so young and you do all this stuff. Where do you find the time, Ryan? Where do you find the time? And you're still being creative. For me, yeah, where do you find the time?
You have to. I mean, you got to get the thoughts out somehow, you know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. So, let me see here. What else do we got? So, yeah, how does art play a role in your everyday self-care? Just from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep, or if you're like any other artist, all those creative ideas come to you while you're sleeping.
Right.
So, kind of tell the audience about that.
Like I was saying before, it's really beneficial to me to get my thoughts out of my mind and onto canvas or onto paper. Um, but I feel like I can be truly myself and genuine when it comes to whatever I create. It more comes from my subconscious, and I'm not thinking about it as much as I would, a social media post or something like that that I can look at forever. Like pieces like this that I create, they last forever, but they convey a temporary emotion most of the time. So it's very cool to look back at those and know that I conquered those feelings and in the time, and I was able to create something beautiful out of it. Um, but yeah, it's just really beneficial to me to get it out of my brain, and be able to help others with it as well.
Yeah, so there was a suggestion from Charles Joseph on Facebook. He said maybe you can make some connections with other young people through NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and kind of step into that. These are all suggestions. You don't have to go with them right now. To me, you're doing awesome things just right here locally in the community here. With some of your art pieces and things like that. So are there any more art pieces, artworks you want to show us and kind of tell us the story behind those?
Yes. Let's see. More recently, I started working on a food truck locally that has less to do with mental health, but that has been a really cool project, a unique one for sure.
I don't know how I'd be able to handle working on a food truck. I'd be eating there every 20 minutes
Right,
and,
right.
and getting a discount somehow.
This is a piece I created this summer. It kind of plays on my background with religion. I grew up in a pretty religious family, but my more immediate family isn't very religious. And I've formed my own opinions about it. And I think that this piece really conveys that, I'd consider myself agnostic. I do believe in something, but it's not what everyone else believes in around me. So that has been quite the journey for myself. But I think this shows that to me, it's more like the universe, the creator, it's more of a overall scheme than one particular higher being. So I think that this piece conveyed it in a really cool way that's not hard to digest, but still gives that. And I think the question mark within the rosary type thing that the being is holding is probably my favorite part of that piece.
Okay, so what is that? I think I originally thought that was a skateboard, but it's not the more I look at it.
Yes, it's a longboard.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm a basketball player, Ryan. I don't know those. My twin sister's probably watching like, cool. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, thank you for sharing your story, and maybe through this platform there's more opportunities too, and I encourage you even on your social media sites just kind of do this little live that we're kind of doing now and showcase some of your art because you need to get it out there. Like your artwork is beautiful, but your storytelling behind those pieces of artworks, I think, to me really puts the meaning out there, and it goes back to why this presentation is called Art When There Are No Words, because not everybody can articulate what they're thinking and how to convey it to someone to help them get out of those negative thoughts, and focusing. I think art helps people focus on the beauty or the goodness, and zeroes in on that and gives them a temporary relief, I guess, of some of the negative feelings. Is that how it is for you?
Yes, it definitely is that way for me. Um, it's just a way to make something beautiful out of something that's really difficult to go through. I think not everyone has that skill, but I think it is such a great skill to have. And I'm so very thankful that I take advantage of it every day. And I encourage everyone else to do so too, because it's been so helpful for me within everything that I've gone through. You know, even if no one sees my art, it's still so meaningful to just get it out and have those ideas somewhere else.
Awesome. So are you so I put on there that everyone says a comment is that you're so wise for your young age. And then how did you learn so much about all the different art mediums?
Uh, Basically, just through experience. My recent work with the Rapid City Arts Council and the Doll Art Center that kind of got me into more mural work through Art Alley. But otherwise, I have a lot of things that I like to recycle. I don't really like to buy new art materials if I can help it. So I use like recycled books from my childhood or whatever I can find really to create for more collage type pieces. And so that really helps me to be more creative and just really work with what I have.
Right on. We made this plan, Ryan, I, and another young artist, Kat, to do a mural down in Art Alley. So we're maybe this summer we'll have to still keep going with that. We'll have to get a hold of Kat and see if she's still willing to do that. So, and somebody put in there, and it's eco-friendly. So your kudos for that too, for recycling and trying to reduce waste. You're very that I was for the audience when I first started working with Ryan. I think she was 17 at the time, or yeah, I think 17. And I didn't even know it. I thought she was 21. And then one day she told me her age, and I was like, what? I just couldn't believe it, how, mature you are, and you carry yourself really well.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, so what else you got for us? I know you do I don't want to say majority of just acrylics, but you, like I said, you do digital, you do street art, um you do collages and mixed media. So definitely show us the range.
One second, this one's loading. All right. This one I created for an art show at the Doll Art Center. This is the one that Tally has, but this is probably one of my favorite pieces, and it was the first piece I created with myself as reference. The hands are exactly my hands, which I think is my favorite aspect of the piece. Um, to create something with my hands and then have to see it in a piece was really cool for me. But I really love the texture in the top as well. I worked with a lot of different techniques to get that down with the acrylic, but this is all acrylic paint. So yeah, that was one of my favorite pieces for sure.
I know, I really don't think that photograph does it justice because in person it is so vibrant. And
Yeah.
like I said, Sue, remember right when you unwrapped it, I was like, oh, Ryan, oh my God. And that piece is called The Gift. So
Yes.
it's very significant and I'll have to bead you a whole set for that. Now that I started my beadwork, we'll do the whole set, the earrings, the bracelet, the necklace. But yeah, that for the audience that don't know, maybe my sisters and my mom that are watching this presentation right now too. It's hanging up in Meadow's room. She got that as a birthday present. So and it when like I said, the photograph that you just showed us doesn't do it justice. I wish I would have had the original out here, but that's okay. People now that people are curious about your artwork, they can go on your social media. So somebody asked what was the meaning behind the gift.
That one, that was for an art show called The Art of Kindness. And to me, I feel like kindness is giving without any means, expecting nothing in return, giving all that you can when you can, with boundaries, of course. But to me, that's what kindness is. So I think that is a really good way to show it, that's full of gesture and full of interpretation for the viewer. And it's not too literal. And I think I did a really good job of conveying that in that piece.
Yeah, I think you did too, and the Art of Kindness was a really good show.
Yes.
Yeah, too bad you were an employee. Then you probably would have won. It was a juried art show, and Ryan, just because she was an employee there, she couldn't enter the juried part of the show. But yeah, that is an amazing piece. Um, so have you done anything recent that's fairly new?
Not so much recently. I've done a lot more sketchbook work. Kind of just, I'm in a period of, I'm about to move here pretty soon. So it's kind of hard for me to break out all the art materials and get back into it. But for right now, I'm just really focused on networking out there and trying to get my name out there as well.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna be nosy. Where are you moving to?
Hawaii.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, so exciting. Yes, and definitely keep up your art. I'm excited to see how the local culture there will impact your creativity and some of the work that you do. Yay! So excited for
Well,
you.
I'm really hoping to find some new inspiration down there. Maybe change up my style a little bit too, just from all the influence that's around me. New culture, new place, being surrounded by the ocean. I think that'll be really cool for me.
Yay, awesome. And water has just this calming effect. I think I am from the river, a river rat. I am Dakota, so I grew up by the river, so I think
Yes.
that's nice. What else do you have for us? Beautiful work. I'm
Yes,
so
I apologize.
excited for you.
And my iPad doesn't have very many pictures of my art, so I might have to just pull it up on my phone. But
Hey, this is your show, Ryan. You do whatever makes you comfortable.
right.
We're just watching, immersing ourselves in your creativity here. Or you can do a quick shout out too of how the audience can follow you on your social medias.
Okay. On Instagram, my art page is Light Customs. That's LIGHT.CUSTOMS. I'm not on Facebook for my art, but Instagram is where you can find me mainly. And my name is Ryan Light, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram there as well to contact me personally.
Right on. So yeah, I'm early on Facebook too. I think Instagram just it's this better market for artists, I want to say.
Yes, I agree.
Yep, somebody just put in the chat too that they're looking for artwork for the new Oyate Healthcare Hospital too.
Oh, really?
Yep, I think Racing Magpie might have shared that with artists too. I don't know if they extended the deadline, but definitely maybe Racing Magpie can share that link there in the comments too. But um, I'll talk to Peter too, and he can email you that if they're still accepting.
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
still upset Monument didn't pick up that piece that you did. Wow. And
Yeah,
you're a
my
local
family was.
artist.
Ooh. My
Well,
mom even worked there, and that didn't give me a foot in the door.
oh my God, the nerve. So do you find that being a young person, two, you are a young woman of color, sometimes do you think that is a hindrance in trying to break through certain art markets here in Rapid City? And does that play a part in maintaining your mental health, or you seem like you keep your focus really well, but
Honestly,
sometimes is it hard?
yeah, definitely. But I'd say I've had a very different experience than most within this community. I'm very white presenting, and I was brought up very whitewashed, as you could say. I was just more recently introduced into the culture and enrolled into my tribe. So it's more, I'm still on that journey, and I'm very excited to be introduced to an opportunity like this to meet more people within this community. But I'd say I've had a very different experience because I do present as white. Um, so people view me very differently than they would a darker complected person. So unfortunately, I am very lucky in that sense. Um, but yeah, I think to
Well,
me, it.
welcome to the tribal community, air
Thank
hugs.
you.
We embrace you, and definitely reach out to people here in the community if you have any questions about the culture and language and how to incorporate it if you want to learn more. So, you know,
Yes,
there's I'm got light skin, but I also have dark hair and curly hair at that too. So I was just
yeah,
talking to Sheldon last night. I was like, where's the representation for us curly haired natives?
yeah. I think art has really helped me on that journey as well, though, because I have a lot more passion within this community, and I love it. You know, I've been so fully accepted into it, and everything has been going amazing. Met so many great artists and creative minds that I just treasure. Um, but it gives me another influence within to my artwork as well, to show another side of trauma that I never really knew I had. Not to say that I experience it any more than anyone else, but it is a new way of thinking that I didn't really consider before.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, always reach out. Racing Magpie is an excellent organization that has all these connections too. So,
Yes.
welcome. Yeah, don't be scared. All right. So, did you want to show us anything else?
Yeah, this was part of a mental health collection I created too. It's called Extension. It's more of a happier piece for me. I think it represents falling into better times. That's why there's bright colors and more black and white in the background, because it's someone who's experiencing emptiness more so, um, no meaning really, and then just falling into that, more euphoric time of, finding yourself and healing. So I think that's a really nice piece as well, to not just show the negative of it, but the good sides as well.
Yeah, the balance,
Yes,
the
yes,
positivity and the negativity. There has to be, and that kind of ties into our culture too. It's all about balance and maintaining that balance. The we say we have seven directions because they're the four cardinal directions, and then of course up, above, and below, and then mie or the hochoka, the center is yourself. So I
mhm,
think that plays into a lot of what you're saying too, with the balance of your struggles that you go through that are really conveyed in your artwork. So thank you so much for sharing. Do you have anything else that you want to share with us?
um, let me see. Here, I had one on here that I'll share.
And do you do commission pieces as well too, don't you?
Yes, I do. They're closed currently because of just my moving situation, but usually they are open to anything from shoes to mural work to acrylic paintings, anything.
What? I didn't know you did kicks. I got some Air Force Ones.
Yes,
I'll
that's how
have
I
to send them
started.
to Hawaii.
Actually. Yeah.
The shipping to Hawaii. Oh my God, I don't know. Maybe I'll send them with you and you can just let me know what it will cost to send back.
This is a piece I created, a more fun design for a sticker, but I think it does really convey a journey with depression and that kind of thing as well, because you just feel kind of dead, um, like a walking dead person sometimes. So I think this conveys that really well, in a sense that you're almost wearing a mask some days. Um, Definitely a more playful version on it, but I really like the design of this one.
I like the design too. That could be like a Deftones t-shirt or something. Do you know Deftones? Am I aging
Yes,
myself?
it is. No,
Yay. Okay, okay. The younger generations like that too.
yeah.
All right. So we have about 10 minutes here if anybody has any question. So I do have a question from Colby, a viewer. She said, you talked about being light skinned. Did you ever think of doing a piece of how that made you feel? Because she is also a light skinned native. Because sometimes in our own culture, we have that stigmatism or that stigmata too about being a mixed blood as compared to being a full blood, and the experience is different too. So you ever thought of doing an art piece on that?
Yes, I have actually. I thought about doing a mural. I just, it's hard to kind of get those thoughts together about the topic, because I feel like I have mixed experiences on both sides, I guess. So, not to say that either side has been unaccepting of me by any means, but I feel like my opinion is kind of swayed to one side because I do present one way. So I feel wrong speaking for the other side of that. Um, but it is something that I would like to convey. I don't know exactly how I would go about it, but that's definitely a great suggestion because I know that I'm not the only one for sure.
Yes, definitely. You it's all about helping each other, right? That's what this
Yeah,
this
exactly.
forum is for all of us who are Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, where we can connect with each other and strengthen each other through these experiences too. And
Yeah.
I think art is that key to it, that gateway. And I just want to say to our audience out there, and I'm sure Ryan can agree too, that art and studies have shown that art does play a part in mental well-being and mental stability and maintaining that. Like, you don't always have to be an artist. Just being creative in some aspect will help you with those negative thoughts. If you're like, I'm a beadwork artist. I never really consider myself an artist, but I'm getting more comfortable with that term. So I think any type of medium of it, as long as you're creating, and like Ryan said, words don't always convey that. So you have to try to have a release or an outlet to get that out. So I definitely thank you so much for sharing your story with us. So what's the future plans for Ryan Light and Light Customs?
Hopefully gonna do some more mural work. That's definitely the plan. Hopefully there's more opportunities for me in Hawaii. That'd be really awesome. Um, Hoping to work with a lot more local and just nonprofit organizations that are meaningful to me. Um, that's a big part of art for me is helping others that need it, and while expressing myself and helping others through the art itself as well. So that'll be a really cool experience. Definitely doing more commission work when I get around to it. But yeah,
So are you gonna stick with one medium, or are you still gonna, because like I said, your graphic art is pretty good too.
Well, yeah, I definitely prefer physical art over digital. Um,
Yeah.
even though digital is a little bit simpler in my opinion when it comes to what I do, at least my style. But I definitely swing more towards the physical media, so originals or collage type work. That's definitely my forte, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so I had from Patricia Withorn, she put in here, do you have any encouraging words for other youth out there who might be struggling with mental health and depression?
Definitely, I'd say take it one day at a time. You know, use all the resources you have. Someone out there does love you, and there's no doubt about that for sure. So use your resources, use your support systems, um, and create something. You know, it's really helpful, even if it's not great or you don't think it's the most amazing piece in the world. Like at least you're putting effort into doing something productive and something helpful towards your mental health.
Awesome. Those are good words from a person who has been through this. I definitely think you'd be a asset to kind of bring in more awareness to mental health too with the youth, because sometimes they feel like nobody wants to listen because these are older people or more, and there's nobody their age. But with you telling your story on this platform, I think is definitely an asset, and it'd be cool if tribal schools can get you in and you can help with kind of these things that the youth are struggling with too. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you have everything packed up, all your art supplies, everything?
pretty much. Yeah.
Right on. So what are you going to do in Hawaii
Right now,
besides learn how to hula dance?
yeah, pretty much just gonna get a laid back job. I'm thinking focus on my artwork, kind of just take some time for myself. I won't be there for too long at this point. I'm thinking only 6 months for the time being. So I think
Oh,
it'll be a nice experience to move away from the Midwest for once and kind of get a new perspective on life and what's out there in the world.
you could paint a surfboard, but all indigenous.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Right? That'd be cool. So we have a couple comments here. It says, "Thank you, Ryan. You are amazing in all that you do. Keep going." That was from Trisha Withorn. And then from Colby, she put, "Thank you so much, Ryan, and good luck in Hawaii. It's such a amazing opportunity." Yay, gain some fans.
Yes.
Yes, and I definitely think you should think, before you go, probably think about submitting some. Oh, you already have your stuff packed up, but submitting some pieces for Oyate, because I think your artwork combined with your story would just be impactful, especially at Oyate where all our tribal people go.
Yes. And that'd be an amazing opportunity. I'd love to work with them.
Yeah. I think the deadline's January 9th is what Patricia said. She works for Great Plains Tribal leadership who runs Oyate Health. So definitely check into that. When we get off, I'll maybe message Peter or with Patricia here and get the link and we can email it to you. So
Amazing.
yeah, so does anybody else have any more questions for Ryan or any more comments for her? Definitely put them in the box here. Anything else you want to share with us, audience members here? You got 5 minutes, Ryan Light.
Um, I think that's about it. Honestly, showed you what I got. Feel free to ask any questions or contact me personally after this if you have anything you'd like to share or a conversation you'd like to start about anything that I had said. Um, you can follow me at Light Customs and Ryan M. Light on Instagram. And yeah, I just want to thank Racing Magpie for having me. This has been amazing. And everyone that has joined, this is a crazy opportunity. I'm just so glad to be here.
All right, we have an audience member that wants to reach out and say something to you.
Hi, Ryan. I'm Trish Withorn. It's a
Hi.
pleasure to meet you.
Yes,
Um,
it's nice
I
to
have to let you know I'm so just amazed by you, because for your youth and your young age, and to know so much about your own mental well-being, and to have taken the steps to really advocate for yourself and take care of your mental health. um, you know, even that can be a challenge in itself for our young people. What advice might you give to some of our youth to just in seeking out ways to address their own mental health, or some of the needs that they might have? How did you go about finding out about your own mental health and taking care of it, type thing?
Honestly, I think time has been the best tool for me, as hard as that is at times. I think just learning and trying different things has been most effective. But for younger ones or anyone my age that is just feeling kind of lost, I think just sitting with yourself and kind of thinking about what you need to feel better, to feel happy, whatever that means for you, is really important. To just, it's so unique to each person. So it's hard to give advice to such a broad thing, but I think just really sitting with yourself and finding what makes you happy and joyful and working towards that thing is really going to be helpful towards every aspect of your mental health.
Well, I thank you for that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, I look forward to meeting you in person one day, maybe. And good luck in Hawaii. I work for the Connecting with Our Youth Mental Health. We do suicide prevention slash intervention. So if you, I may reach out to you maybe to have you host a culture night. We do culture night every Wednesday at the La Crosse location. So I'm going to look into it to see if maybe we can have you come and do a presentation or something, or you know.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
meet you. I'm
Yes,
excited.
pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
See, you're already inspiring. Yay. I'll drag Trisha with me when we go have coffee before sometime next week.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, we'll have to pick a during her lunch hour or something like that, and pick your young wise mind on strategies. For being so young, you're very mature and wise.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so does anybody have any more comments or questions for Ryan here? And again, Light Customs, she's on Instagram, Light Customs, or Ryan Light. Sometimes she's on Facebook, but a lot of her artwork you'll find on her Instagram, and definitely follow her. So we have a comment from Facebook. The whole family is watching and they love you. Good job, good job. I'm so proud of you. Like I said, I just feel like the mama bird releasing her little chick out into the world with Ryan there. But definitely being as young as you are, you have really inspired me, you know, with a lot of your art pieces and your story. So always take that with you and keep it with you. And like I said, welcome to our indigenous community. And if you ever need anything, reach out to one of us, and we're always gonna help, you know, with whether it be culture, language, even some pieces with your artwork. So thank you so much, Ryan, and definitely hit her up on Instagram, Facebook. She might not get to it right away through Facebook, but she'll get to it. So thank you so much, Ryan, and thank you
Yes.
all the viewers out there. Anything you want to part with?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. It was great.
Yeah, and we got thank you, Ryan, from the audience here. All right, girl, up Hawaii. You might have to find me a couple uncles over there. Come visit. I'm just kidding. All right, have a good night, Ryan. I'll
All right,
talk to
thank
you later.
you.
And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Very powerful. And sharing your artwork with us.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
All right,
Proud
have
of
a
you,
good
Ryan.
night.
Keep going. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
We'll be in touch.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.